Whenever you guys are ready.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Wilton, and I, along with my fellow colleagues, will be talking today about the Haiti earthquake that occurred in 2010. Even before the earthquake, Haiti was one of the poorest countries in the world. Most of its population, 7% of its population lived under poverty line. The areas affected were Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and it was an earthquake of a 7.0 moment magnitude with 52 aftershocks that followed. The epicenter of the earthquake was 60 miles west of the capital port of Port-au-Prince. The death of 230 citizens, mostly Haitians, and those of other nationalities living on the island. 300,000 sustained non-fatal injuries. The lack of education for youth. Because of the earthquake, over 4,000 schools were either destroyed or ruined, I guess. And leaving a lot of students without education facilities. 1.9 million people were displaced out of their homes, and out of those 1.9 million, 1.3 million were accommodated in improvised camps. Haitian Americans that live in the U.S. Many Haitians migrated to the U.S. and Dominican Republic and other neighboring countries.
So economically it was affected, so over 100,000 homes were destroyed, over 4,000 schools destroyed, and supply stations and other buildings were destroyed, which cost over $7.8 billion to rebuild, construct, and reprovide, and also provide citizens with basic life during the crisis. Not only that, that also led to unemployment even lower, even though it's a poorer country. But after that, U.S. organizations and Caribbean organizations tried to help Haiti. Not only that, they used credit card fees to help provide. So like MasterCard, Discover, American Express, those fees helped. And that generated $45 billion to help donate to Haiti. Politically, it was already unstable, the government, so it just made it even worse. So the economic death led to political situation, unsure and creating an unstable sense of government. And yeah. Here's a illustration of time and effect of the Haiti earthquake on a global scale, regional scale, and here's a local scale, and those red dots represent the 52 aftershocks that followed.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So the data was collected through thorough research and analysis using a website called World Bank. This website provides information, reliable data from around the world and information that we were able to use. Our data set is based on the amount of tourists entering Haiti. So as you can see, this is the x-axis, and this represents the amount of years that have passed. And the y-axis on that side represents the amount of tourists. So when we look at this data, there's actually 2 points where the amount of tourists towards Haiti go down, and that's in 2006 and in 2010. And in both these points, a natural disaster occurred in Haiti. So using a program called Desmos, we were able to draw a regression using different functions. When doing a regression, we are trying to find the line that best displays and connects the data. We can use a line of regression to see what might happen in the future and to connect the dots between what has already happened. So in the first picture, here we can see a linear regression between the data. Due to the correlation coefficient, I'll get into what that is later, we can see that this is the best fit. Then the next is a cubic function, which we use to try, though this may look like from the bottom it connects the data better, it does not. And our last was an exponential function that we used. So our results, like I just said, the model that best fits our data based on the tourism is the linear model. This is due to the correlation coefficient. The correlation coefficient is how much of the data, so the percentage actually that is accurate to the line. So as we can see here, 0.9, which would be about 90% of the data is accurate to the line. So though natural disasters have occurred in this region, due to the linear function, we can see that tourism overall has increased. Two other data sets that we collected was on the amount of Haitians in the Dominican Republic, which we can see that over time has also gone up after the natural disasters, and the expenditures due to tourism. And as we can see here where the 2010 mark is, the amount of money spent on it also has gone down.
Although most of our data is presumably accurate, our project does have a few limitations. For example, the people that migrated to the Dominican Republic or other neighboring countries, we can't account for illegal immigrants, and also our tourism data is solely based on people that go to the airport.
Well, our project is based off a natural disaster. You can't predict natural disasters, but we can see the data changing in those places that a natural disaster already happened. Since we cannot predict when the natural disaster will happen, we will see the change of data constantly when it happens.
Last is that the graphical representations have its limits. This is clear, you can easily see this in the cubic function, where it would have started at below zero, the amount of dollars spent on tourism, which is not logical, and this is also, you can see, will go down, and eventually here it would have reached zero, which is also not logical because there will always be more than $0 spent on tourism. At last, when we compare these general lines, there's one limitation where we can see that this line overall says that tourism still increases due to even though the natural disasters have occurred, while this one says that the money spent on it decreases. So, whereas one says it didn't really affect the tourism, the other one said that it does affect the money spent on it.
Although in conclusion, although the overall data on the tourism still increases, the impact that the earthquake has left on its citizens is irreversible.